we're talking about specifically Canada. Today, we're going to be focusing on Canada today because Canada is one of the country that, as long as you're going for a course that is commercially relevant, as long as you understand why you're going to Canada, definitely you will get accepted. And we can guarantee 99.9% success rate because of how we have helped or what we have seen over time helping candidates that are currently, or some of our candidates that are currently in Canada, right? Because the most important thing is understanding the dynamics and understanding what Canada requires and understanding how to actually navigate the system to make sure that you become successful. We've seen most people that will be like, oh, I want to travel to Canada for work. I want to travel to Canada for permanent residency and all those good stuff, right? Well, I will tell you that is actually fantastic. But there is a level of career trajectory or career growth you can never get to if you are not a graduate in that particular country, if you are not seen as someone that earned a master's degree or have a particular portfolio in that country. That's why you see most people, when they travel to Canada or travel to other countries, you see them start doing jobs that normally they won't do in their own country. You see them start doing things that they won't do in their own country. You see a professor traveling to Canada or traveling to a particular country and he's doing something that normally he won't do in his own country. All right. That's why we at Career Lake, we are focused on education because we believe on the power of education. If you are going to a country through education, you can actually get access to a high-paying job, actually get access to opportunities that can actually transition your life for the better. You won't be doing normal jobs or normal manual labor that most people actually go to the US or go to Canada to do. Because, of course, you are a graduate and this system appreciates those that have the required skills to be in tech, to be in science, to be in technology, to be in mathematics fields. Because the reason why Canada actually look for people or actually take the right candidate is because of one thing. There are jobs positions that are actually open for you because you are going for a STEM or you're going for a business designated courses that are currently high demand. The reason why most people get denied the Canadian visa is because of one thing. They are not going for a course that is actually in demand. That is one of the major reasons they are not being accepted to Canada. And in today's session, we're going to be diving into that on how you can secure up to $100,000 to fund your education with just $3,500 investment in this process. So let's dive into this session today. All right. So we provide up to $2,000 to $100,000 in educational funding for you to earn a master's. All right, to earn a master's in the in Canada. All right, a master's in Canada, you are going for an MBA program in Canada. Now, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That is what STEM stands for. Stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So whether you are going for supply chain management, you are going for project management, you are going for healthcare informatics, you are going for name it, whatever course that is under science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we covered you. Now, why do we support this kind of courses? Now, years ago, let's say 25 years ago, there was nothing like a cybersecurity specialist. There was nothing like a data analyst. And even if there was, it wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. Okay? It wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. But look at now, the world has changed. The world has evolved. Fast forward to let's look at 2020 during the COVID period and look at now. Look at how things have changed. You agree with me that AI has practically taken the world. There's generative videos that are coming up that you won't even believe that these videos are made with AI. Just 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was no ChatGPT that people could actually use to do their work and all that. But look at now. There's ChatGPT that is making work much more easier. Now, that's to tell you that the world is evolving. And as the world evolves, you, of course, want to evolve as the world evolves. Because in the next 5 years, I'm currently imagining what is going to happen. That's why these countries are practically looking for individuals that can actually take positions, that can actually take industrial sectors, technological sectors. They're trying to build their workforce with technology. Currently, the US is trying to even build a kind of a platform or just building of AI or building of chips. That's why Donald Trump went to the UAE the other month to negotiate how they can actually invest into their system. You see, that's to tell you that the world is evolving. And the thing is now, how are you evolving in this world? That's why we are focused on courses that we know can actually guarantee you a postgraduate work permit, can actually guarantee you a high-paying job, and can actually guarantee you a permanent residency when you are done studying in this country. All right. So we are focused on science, technology, and mathematics-related courses because of these reasons. All right. Now, why we support STEM and business course? Why do we support business course? I've said that before, but I'm going to just buttress more on my point. I'm just going to buttress more on my point. Now, I was talking about cybersecurity earlier. Now, the reason why cybersecurity is in demand, or project managers are currently in demand, is because of the industry is not saturated yet. Now, the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger you earn. Right? The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger you earn. And number two, the less people in that particular industry, the more you earn. Now, looking at cybersecurity, for example, cybersecurity specialists are doing a lot of fantastic jobs when it comes to securing companies and organization infrastructure. Now, if a bank is under attack and cybersecurity is the only person that can secure them, that means cybersecurity have actually saved that organization billions of dollars. All right, billions of dollars. Right? That means that if they're going to be solving that huge problem, that means they're supposed to be earning more. They're supposed to be earning high. In fact, in the US and in Canada, cybersecurity specialists are actually sought after. Now, this is not only cybersecurity, guys. Data analysts, guys, data science, health informatics, name it. Any health-related courses or courses that are engineering-related, science-related, or technology-related, you are going to get that particular admission, you are going to get that particular job, and you are going to secure your permanent residency as long as you are focused on an industry that they are currently looking for people to actually fill. A STEM master's degree graduate in Canada, you can earn up to $60,000 to $100,000, right? And earn up to $60,000 to $100,000. If you're an entry-level MBA graduate, you can earn up to $70,000 to $120,000, right? What about being an experienced MBA graduate? You can earn up to $200,000, right, per annum, especially if you work in fields like finance, in tech, and in consulting. This is how much you can actually earn because the system appreciates your talent. The system appreciates your skills. You are being paid what you are worth, right? You, of course, are being paid what you are worth. That's why it's important that if you are looking at traveling or looking at leaving your own country to travel to the US or travel to Canada or travel to whatever country you're interested in, it is important that you go for a pathway that guarantees you a high cost, guarantees you a permanent residency, and of course guarantees you a high-paying job. All right. So this is why we support STEM and business-related courses. Now, there was at the beginning of this year when Donald Trump just gained into entered as the president of the United States, right? One thing happened that there's this guy called Vivek Ramaswamy who was working with Elon Musk on DOGE, like Department of Government Efficiency, right? And this Vivek, tweeted something online and was like, the average the average Westerners, that means Canada and the US, don't actually have the required skills that is needed for them. That's why you see them go outside, go to Africa, go to India to bring in talent into their country. And the whole internet were just like, it's a lie, it's not true. But practically, it is actually true. Because at the end of the day, the average American or the average Canadian are very, very comfortable. Currently, they're not even what in Africa, we are majorly discussing about good governance. We're majorly discussing about, light issues, bad roads, infrastructure issues. In Canada and in US, they are majorly focused on LGBTQ. They're focused on, price of eggs. They're focused on things that normally are not, because their system works for them. So it is prompt to them to want to relax. That's why you see most industrial organizations, tech organizations are constantly recruiting Africans, right? constantly recruiting Africans, constantly recruiting Indians, because they know that these guys are good at what they do. These guys are going to be focused and going to work hard. Now, imagine you being in that country and you have the skill, right? Imagine you being in that country and you have the skill. It sets you apart. It gives you a very clear and direct process on getting your permanent residency or even excelling in that particular country you are going for. One of our candidates that is currently in the United States, she currently works with the Bank of America. This is just after she graduated just last year. She graduated in December last year, and she currently works with the Bank of America. That's to tell you that jobs are available for you, as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you know why you're there. That's why in Career Leap, we are focused on individuals that have the global citizenship mindset. You must have a global citizenship mindset, a mindset that you know that once you get to that country, you are not just there to just for the sake of being in that country. You are milking the opportunities in that country, right? You are milking what? The opportunities in that country. That's why we are focused on people or individuals that have a global citizenship mindset. Now, moving on. What does our funding covers? What does our funding covers? Now, for you to travel in with the way the dollar is at the moment, you agree with me that the naira is actually like, in fact, things are just going up every day, right? And convert $100,000 to naira today, you have a huge amount. Now, how many of us have that huge amount to want to go study abroad? In fact, if you have that kind of amount, I doubt you want to study abroad. I doubt you want to travel out of the country to go study, to go spend that money in travel. But this time, there's what we call using other people's money, right? Using other people's money for your betterment. Using other people, just like you running out, you starting a business and you want to, you have a business and you want to invest in that business, but you don't have the funds for that. You will simply go to the bank, of course, and get a loan. And of course, you use that loan you've collected to build your business. And now when your business starts doing great, then you refund that, right? And this time you are the business, you are the investment, right? You are the business, you are the investment. So simply put it that the $100,000 is basically you assessing this funding that can actually get your tuition fee covered, get your health insurance, get your academic gadgets like your books, your laptops, and your phone. And of course, your flight ticket and cost of living in that country. This $100,000 is going to provide you for a 2 years course. 2 years course. And this is not saying, oh, we have seen it happen for a lot of our candidates that are currently studying abroad. So if they can do it, why not you? If they can do it, why not you? They can secure this funding to actually be in that country. Then we've seen people that don't actually have, can't actually boast of 10 million, 20 million in their account, but they're actually living their best life abroad. The particular candidate of ours called Elo, every day on her status, she doesn't want to, we are not hearing what again, because at the end of the day, she will always post about our experiences in Canada. She will always disturb us on her status, we see where she went to and all those, but she's excited. That is the thing, that the joy that we derive when we see that our candidate are able to access this funding and they spend less in terms of the Elo. I think Elo can't even boast of 20 million or 10 million in account when she started. But now Elo is on a path of being a global citizen and accessing massive job opportunities while she's in that country. All right. So this funding already covers your tuition fee. Tuition fee ranges from $20,000, depending on the school you are going to $50,000. Right. That's a lot of money. It covers your health insurance. You don't want to be caught without health insurance. It covers the cost of gadgets, your books, your laptops, your phone. It covers your flight ticket. Also covers your cost of living. Right. It covers your what? Your cost of living. Now, moving on, what is the requirement? What is the requirement? It doesn't require you to have a guarantor. It doesn't require you to have a collateral, right? It doesn't tell you to bring somebody or bring another person and all those good stuff, right? And the interest on this loan is 12.99% per annum. And of course, you must gain admission into a school with support, right? You must gain admission into a school with support. You must be pursuing a course that is business related. If you don't know a course you should be pursuing, we are going to give you guidance. We're going to advise you on the best course to take based on your work history and your career path, or based on your first degree. And you must be willing to begin paying the interest 45 days after resuming school. I'm going to explain that as I move on this session. Right? Now, we only disburse up to $50,000 the first year, and another year we disburse another $50,000, right? So let's say, for example, you collect $50,000 this first year. The following year, upon your request, you can collect or request for another $50,000, right? And this fund is disbursed directly to your school. Okay, it is disbursed directly to your school and not to your what account. Okay, so let's move on. So loan repayment plan. The interest, like I said, only starts 45 days after resuming school, right? And let me explain this part, right? Now, once you resume on campus, you can actually get a job as a student. Okay, you can get a job as a student where you can actually earn up to $2,000 to $3,000 per month. I'm going to explain that as I move on in my subsequent slide. And also, the minimum monthly repayment is $200, and maximum is $500. If you have the capacity to pay more than $200 in terms of the interest repayments, of course you can do that. We've seen people that are actually paying even $1,000 because of how they're able to manage themselves and build their credit and all that over there, right? Now the principal repayment begins after graduation. Now you start paying the principal after graduation. However, we encourage when candidates pay in less than 5 years. That's why we are very focused on courses that we know are commercially relevant, that can easily get you a job, and of course, an high-paying job. Now, the loan also comes at a reducing balance. It's on a reducing balance model. For those that are an accountant or you are working in finance space, I believe you know what reducing balance means in this instance. So let's move on. So what are the 3 easy ways to pay back this loan? Now, we've talked about 45 days of you start paying the interest on this loan and all those good stuff, right? Now, what is the possibility? How can I pay it back? I've gotten to the US, I've gotten to Canada. So how do I start paying this interest on the loan? Now, number 1 is through the loan itself. Now, we've seen instances where candidates collect this funding and they actually use it. Like, let's say, for example, you collect $50,000, $50,000 is disbursed to your school. Okay, $50,000 is disbursed to your school, right? The school collects $25,000 from that $50,000, right? They collect $25,000 or that $50,000 and disburse the remaining $25,000 to you. The remaining $25,000 is for you. The following year, this repeats itself again. The school collects half of your tuition fee, the remaining balance of your tuition fee, and also give you the rest of the fund. So most candidates, what they do is this: they collect that $25,000 and save it for the next academic session. So instead of collecting or collecting another fund for the next year, they use the $5,000 to pay the following year, so that they don't get to collect another loan again. Okay, that is how they do it. Why most of them usually, use the money however they want to use it. They send some back home, they spend it however they want to spend it. They live their life. In fact, I've seen candidates that actually gotten cars for themselves, they've gotten things for themselves that, based on the fact that they have, because the system works when you have a high credit score. I'm going to explain that as I move on in my slide. So you cover the tuition fee. The $25,000 actually cover the first year tuition and any other expenses, right? Then the remaining $25,000 is for you, so you can use it however you want to use it. You can, in fact, use it to pay the interest on the loan 45 days upon resumption. And we have never seen any issue or anyone coming to our DM and be like, "Oh, I can't pay this anymore. Oh, what's going on?" They have not. No, you will surely get your funds after you resume on campus. Number 2 way of paying back this loan is on-campus job, right? You can get on-campus job as a student, so you can work up to 20 hours per week and you can earn up to $2,000 per month. All right, you can earn up to $2,000 per month. I've seen people that actually, have remote jobs. They have remote jobs from their home country, right? That even those remote jobs are even paying them very well, and they're using that to even pay back the interest on the loan. You don't necessarily need to just go off your job because you are traveling abroad. You can still keep that job you have back home and be working remotely. If you have a business back home, your business back home, of course, can be helping you pay back the interest on your loan. All right. So whatever it is, whatever the case is, the most important thing is stepping your leg or stepping your feet in that particular country you are going to. So as a student, you can actually work on campus, right, where you can earn up to $2,000 per month. Now, number 3 way you can actually pay back this funding is if you have a skill. You can monetize your skill. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of immigrants that are currently in Canada that are actually making money just for consulting. They're making money just for consulting for other people to come over, right? Because of what? They're making thousands of dollars, right? Because they're able to monetize their skill. It is beyond that. If you are someone that know how to breathe air, you are someone that understands, therefore you can take pictures, you have all those little skills here and there that can actually earn you a lot of money, then why not do it? I've seen people that actually have digital marketing skills, social media management skills, right? And they're actually getting a remote job from Fiverr, from Freelancer, and all those relevant platforms, right? So the thing is this: how do you milk the opportunity by monetizing your skill? You need to identify a problem in that particular country or that particular city or that particular school or even in your class. What is the problem? Where can you make money from? Right? You need to understand that dynamic, and this is very important. So this is the three major ways to pay back this funding: through the loan itself, on-campus job, and when you have a skill that you can actually, monetize. Okay. Now, moving on. What is the eligibility? What can disqualify you? Number one is if you have a bad credit score, or you have refused to pay back a previous loan. You've owned loan before, you have refused to pay back. This could be a challenge, right? This could be a challenge for you. Now, the way the system works abroad is this, right? In fact, they'll be the one encouraging you to come and collect loan. If you have gone to the US, or those that have gone to the US, or those currently in the US, you see that for you to access some basic thing, you don't need to have the full funds in your pocket. You don't need to have, for example, you can't walk into a car dealership and say you want to get a car. In Africa, you can't walk to a car dealership and say you want to get a car. But abroad, in the West, you can actually walk to a car dealership and get a car, because the system has made it possible for their citizens to access those, basic things that looks like luxury. In Africa, you see someone get a car, you see someone buy a house, you see someone, and you feel like, oh, it's luxurious. No, those things are just basic things every human has access to. Okay? Every human should have access to those basic things. Now, if you have a good credit score, you can even access more. In fact, we have seen people that actually earn more or build wealth for themselves by accessing loan, by using loan to build themselves or build their credit score. And you accessing this fund is a way to also build your credit score abroad. Okay? Is a way to what? Build your credit score abroad so you can access multiple things while in that country. Now, that is the first thing to disqualify you. If you have a poor credit history, you've collected loan from banks, they are chasing you around. In fact, they are putting your pictures everywhere because you are owing them, and eventually your account is reported to credit bureau. That will hinder you from accessing our funding. So if you are here today and you have not paid, right? You have not paid back the loan you have been owing, please try as much as possible to go pay it. But let's say, for example, you are not owing at all, you have not collected at all, you are good to go. But let's say you have collected, but you are paying as a trend due, you are very qualified. The only issue we have is when you've collected, you refuse to pay back, and of course, they are chasing you around. Eventually, they report your account to credit bureau. The number two, you must be choosing you must be going for a commercially relevant course, right? So if you are choosing a non-commercially viable or relevant course, not STEM or business related, we can't fund you, right? Then of course, number three, lack of experience or background in your choosing program. So you must have an element of experience, even if it is not directly tied. There's a way you can connect what you currently do to what you want to go and study abroad. Let's say, for example, you are a teacher, you teach English language. Now, and you want to go study data analytics, you want to go study project management in Canada. There's a way you can link your teaching to that particular course you want to go and study, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, if you are doing something outside STEM, right, you can't study a STEM course. No, there's a way you can actually link what you study, even if what you study or what you currently is not STEM related. You can link it to a STEM related course. There's a way we are going to help you crack that and position you for that success. All right. Then applying to a school or course we don't support. If you are going to a school, like I said before, we don't support, we can't fund you. And of course, if you're not going for a course we support, we can't fund you. So these are the four major things you need to take note of before proceeding with us. Now, moving on. What are the requirements for anyone looking at studying in Canada? What are the requirements? You need to gain admission into a designated learning institute. All right. You need to gain admission, because it's not about saying, oh, I want the funding, I want the loan. No, there's a step to it. First off, you need to, get an LOA, all right? Letter of acceptance from a designated learning institute. That means you've gained admission into a particular school that will support. Once you gain admission, then we can now move and talk about the loan process. Once you talk about the loan process, then we can now move to your study permit process. Then also, once you've gotten your LOA, then we'll move to your providential attestation letter, right? Providential attestation letter issued to you by your school, all right, or the province you are going to. Now, this providential attestation letter wasn't invoked as at last year. It started coming this year for master's students. Right before, providential attestation letter, it wasn't needed for master's students. But this year, fast forward to February this year, it became a thing. So you want to make sure that you want to start your process immediately before Canada starts bringing another requirement that may be very difficult. So once you get admission, you are now required to get a providential attestation letter from your school. Now, you also need your passport and a passport size photo, right? Your international passport, you need that. Then, of course, you need proof of funds. Even if we are going to be, giving you up to $100,000 to study, Canada is also big about proof of funds. And I think one reason a lot of people are running away from Canada is because, for you to get proof of funds that Canada will accept, that we say, you have enough funds, you have to spend a lot. Don't worry, we have it covered. We got you covered. Just the way we have helped other candidates without spending millions and millions in getting their proof of funds, we are going to help you do that. I'm going to explain that as I move on in my slide. So number 5, your statement of purpose or intent. This is another document you need when you are applying to Canada. It is very important that document is very concise. I was reviewing a particular client's statement of intent, the one she wrote from a past process. She sent it to me and said I should help her review that she was denied and all those stuff. And I saw this statement of intent. I'm like, this is very lame. This is very shallow. This is not in there. This is not what is needed, right? And when I listen to her story from up to down, I see that Canada won't accept this one, right? Because the thing is this: your statement of intent is very, very, very important. It is not your regular statement of purpose you write to your school to gain admission. This one is different. It must be between 4 to 5 pages, and it must go straight to the point, and it must explain in critical terms everything they need to know. The reason why most people are being denied Canadian visa is because they have either a shallow statement of intent or a statement of intent that is too long. And one thing about the immigration officers is this, right? Once they are reviewing your case, right? Once they are reviewing your case and they see that your case is giving them headache, they will push it to one side. That's why you see most people are not being answered on time. You see someone has been on queue for a long time, months, and they're wondering why they're not answering them. It's because of, number one, you have a statement of intent that is not convincing enough, that is giving them headache, right? So they have to push it to one side and focus on those that are actually credible, right? So you need to actually, look into that, and that is what we help our candidates do. We ensure that your statement of intent not only explain why you're coming to Canada, but give enough reason why you've chosen that course. To give enough reason why, show where your proof of fund or where your money is coming from, how you made your money. See, there are a lot of documents we actually require, we are going to ask you to provide, and we're going to guide you on how to provide those particular documents. Okay, we're going to guide you on how to provide those particular documents. We know what everybody's story is unique. Your story is different from the next person's story. Your story is different from Adedamola story. Your story is different from Afolabi's story. Your story is different. So there's a different pattern of writing. So if you are going through sponsorship, there's a way you write it, and the document that is actually required to show that. If you are going through personal funding, there's a way you have to do it. There are documents you need to provide. If you are going with your family, there's a way you write it. There's a way you need to position yourself. There's a way you need to put yourself to make sure that you succeed. That's why we can guarantee 99.9% because all our candidates have gone to Canada. They have not seen getting an issue. In fact, within 2 months, 2 months is even long. You should be getting approved, right? Depends on how well you are. In fact, you will see how the process goes because our process is very transparent. in the time where we're going to be doing your application, when you get to the stage where you'll be doing your application, you will be on that session. It's going to be a live session like this, where you'll be part of the session and see how we do it, right? You will testify that this work is not actually easy, right? Because we go in details. We go in details, making sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's, right? Then number 6, police clearance and medical exam, which is very required, right? It is very required. Then we also have application fee, right? Canada application fee, study permit application fee, and you also do your biometrics. You do your biometrics after you have submitted your study permit application, okay? After you have submitted your study permit application, and you wait for a response from, from the embassy. You can only do your biometrics either in Lagos. If you're in Nigeria, you can do your biometrics in Lagos and in Abuja. You can also do your medicals in Lagos or Abuja, but your police clearance, you can do it in any state you are currently in. Now, why do you need to start this process? Why do you need to start this process? Why do you need to join our Study Abroad Academy? The reason why we can boast of 99.9% success is because of what we've seen and how it has worked for others, and how it can also work, right? What we've seen and how it can also work for you. Now, let's start with number 1. What do we help you with? Number 1, we will help you to apply to 2 universities, assist you with your loan application. Now, this is to significantly increase your chance of securing both the admission and the funding, right? It's not about saying you want to just apply to any school. We have specific schools we partner with, and we know schools that can actually admit you, or schools that have success, that have high admission rate, right? You can't just be applying to any schools around. So we are going to apply to 2 universities and also assist with your loan application. Like I said, this is to increase or significantly increase your chance of securing both the admission and, of course, the funding. In fact, before you start, we need to check if the course you are going for is good, if your CGPA is okay. If your CGPA is not okay to study in Canada, we'll let you know. You don't need to start the process. Maybe you can just go to the US. If you're an HND graduate, right, you can go to Canada. You can go to our colleges. There's a different pathway for that. You can go to our colleges, but you must be less than 35 years old. If you're an HND graduate, you can't go for a master's in Canada. The reason for that is because we've seen how people that are going through some of our schools and they get denied. So if you're an HND graduate, you want to tilt to our US pathway. Okay, tilt to our US pathway. If you are a BSc graduate, then of course you can go to Canada. Right, you can go to Canada. Now, number 1, like I said, we help you apply to 2 universities. We also assist you with your loan application. Number 2, we also recommend schools that doesn't require you to do or take the IELTS exam, GMAT, or other English exam, because number 1, they are time consuming and they are very expensive. However, they are very important. They are important exams. It gives you leverage, especially when you have a low score or a low CGPA. It gives you leverage, right? So you need to have that in mind. But we try as much as possible, and we also recommend. In fact, all our candidates that have gone to Canada never wrote IELTS or wrote GMAT. So it is possible. But of course, I'm not saying it's not important. It's important, right? If you are going for an MBA, right, you need to also have GMAT, right? But we have schools that can actually so can you confirm if you can hear me? I don't know if it's from my end. Please, because some people are complaining they can't hear. Okay.
We can hear you.
Thank you. All right. So we have candidates that for MBA without writing GMAT. So it is actually you can see that result from there. So that's number 2. Number 3, we guide you towards schools that do not require application fee. Now, there are more schools that require application fee. A lot of schools require application fee, but there are more schools that doesn't. But it now depends on your course, the course you are going for, and the school you are applying for. That is what it depends on, right? Application fee is not usually expensive, right? So please, you need to take note that if you are going to Canada, majority of Canada institutions don't waive application fee, right? Majority of them. But if, of course, your school require you to do that, I would advise that you do that, okay? I would advise you do that because you are investing in yourself, you're investing in your career. Number 4, we also advise you on the best course to take based on your work history and your career path. There are most people that don't understand the right course to apply for, or the school they should be applying for is a major challenge, right? So don't worry about that. We are going to guide you on courses that we know will give you that leverage, right? We give you that leverage. So we advise you on the best course to take based on your work history, what you currently do, and based on your first degree, what you studied. The number 5, you also be assigned to your own educational manager or dedicated educational counselor or manager who will support you through the school application and loan application. When I say our process is transparent, I mean that you have someone that is dedicated to you that can actually reach out to, talk to, converse to on WhatsApp or via email, whatever works for you guys, right? You have that direct conversation. That person give you updates on your process. Now, the thing about our process is, when I mean transparent, is this, right? You are also involved. Okay, you are also involved in it. It's not when you give us your application to do and you go and sleep. It doesn't work like that. How will you become a global citizen when someone is helping you do everything and you're just sleeping? No, it doesn't work like that. We've seen cases where there was a particular case that came out about, I think, 2 years ago. Where a particular lady, Canada kind of like find out that her admission was fake, right? And they asked her, how was that possible? How did she gain admission? And she said it was the agents that gave her the admission later and all those stuff, right? That's to tell you that most people are not involved in their process. But for us, you must be involved in your process. You must be involved in your process. When the school reach out to you, you send us the information. We'll use your email address. We use we create an account for you, but you only have access to your email. When the school give you admission, you have access to that. You have access to your portal. But we encourage our candidate not to tamper with anything in their portal. Don't tamper with anything. Just see what we are doing and leave it for us, right? But at the same time, you also have access, right? You also have access to if you gain admission, you will see it. You can even reach out to the school directly and several other things that we told you must be involved in your process. If we ask you to do something, please kindly do it, right? Kindly do those things we ask you to do because it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship. Number 6, we also conduct weekly training sessions to educate our candidate on everything they need to know about studying abroad. Because based on what we've seen over time, we see people that travel abroad and they don't know how to figure things out. They don't know how to find their way. They are stranded. They're not, in a position to want to be successful because of lack of knowledge. There's a what we call capacity building. We have this capacity building platform where we get to teach and inculcate the right values, the right information on our candidates. So that when they get to that country, they're not just looking and trying to figure things out, but they have the tools. In fact, you can even join our communities, either in the US or Canada. Our students are in Canada. Our students, you can even liaise with them. You can meet with them, right? You can meet with them. There's a network of people you can actually liaise with. So every month, we actually bring in professionals from different walks of life to come talk about how you can excel when you get to that country. Talk about the things you need to know, because it's beyond just learning. It's beyond just assessing this opportunity. It's about building your capacity, building your mindset, building yourself to make sure that when you get to that country, you are not stranded or you are not finding ways to figure things out. The number 7, once you join the academy, your process begins immediately, right? Nobody's telling you to go wait for 6 months, wait for 1 month, or whatever, right? Your process starts immediately because the first thing we are going to do for you is to have an onboarding session with you. So let's say, for example, you join the academy today, right? Now we send you an email, and that email contains information on the things we want you to submit. It also contains a link where you get to book an onboarding session with us, right? So you book an onboarding session with us and you meet other members of the team that will now guide you on other things you need to know and also connect you with your manager. Now you and your manager can now take that conversation to WhatsApp or via email or whatever platform works for you guys, right? So that is how our process works. So our managers give us updates, give the management updates on how your application is going, if you have gained admission, if your loan has been approved, what are the challenges you are currently facing, how can we mitigate, so we ensure that all our candidates start from the beginning and get to the end of the process. So you must get to the end of the process. We don't like when someone starts and gets stuck in one particular place and couldn't continue. You must get to the end. That's why we make sure that before you join our Study Abroad Academy, we want to know if you are eligible to follow the process. If you fill the form on our website, you will see a detailed explanation on the financial and every other requirement that is necessary. So you can know if you have the capacity to move on with it. And also you have access to our sales associate that you can actually discuss with, ask whatever question you want to ask, and move on from there. So everyone that has gone through our process must get to the end of the process. And this is something we are very, very big on. All right, now let's go to what your $3,500 investment covers. All right, what does it cover? Because it's not about saying you want to study or the fund is available for you. Yes, the fund is available, but you have to invest as well. Okay, you have to invest because Canada will need your own money. Application will need your own, different things will need their own fund before you can actually access this funding, because this funding is sent directly to your school and not to your account. Right? There are most people that spend even more than $3,500 to travel to Canada. They spend more than that, right? But we've worked with our candidate and they have spent even way less than that, and they're able to secure this opportunity and study in Canada. Studying in Canada shouldn't be that expensive that you won't be able to afford it. That's why I'm breaking it down in 3 instrumental stages. So what does your $3,500 covers? Number one, it covers your school application and your loan application. That is basically you joining our study abroad academy, becoming a member. So we help you with your school application and your loan application. Now, we make sure we personalize your goals, your career path, your first degree, your work history, to make sure that it aligns with what we know can actually get you admission, or what we know can actually get you, your loan approved. Number two, we also help you with your LinkedIn optimization. We help with your CV and your statement of purpose for school application. LinkedIn is a very, very important tool that can actually take anyone. In fact, the world we see today is now moving digitally. Everything is going digitally. If you want to get jobs today, people will most likely check you up online, especially when you are going to the West, right? They will most likely check you up online. In fact, for those going to the US government are not checking you guys applicants social media platform. That's to tell you how important you need to make your LinkedIn account or LinkedIn presence rich. That's why we ensure that our candidates, we help them with their LinkedIn optimization. If you're on Facebook, I would advise that the thing you are doing on Facebook, move it to LinkedIn. But of course, it must be professional. If you are doing something work on Facebook, don't bring it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is for professionals. So you need to optimize it and position yourself for opportunities, right? You need to position yourself for opportunities, because LinkedIn can give you access to network. Imagine you traveling to the US or traveling to Canada, you want to network with someone, and they ask you, oh, can I get your LinkedIn profile? And you say you don't have. Or let's say you have, but they check it out on your LinkedIn is not well optimized, or it's not giving the value they expect of you, right? So the world, if you must play at an elite level, if you must play at a level where people can see you as a global citizen, then you need to start doing things that global citizens do, which is ensuring that your LinkedIn spells out who you are, right? Then number two, your CV. Your CV is very important. Your CV must connect with the job or with the course you are going for. Okay, it must connect with the course you are going for. If you are going for business analytics job and you are a teacher, your teaching experience must connect to business analytics, and we have a way to connect that. All right, this is very important. So we ensure that your profile is tailored based on what is required for you to gain admission in Canada and access other opportunities. Then also, this $3,500 covers your PAL, which is your providential attestation letter, right? Based on your school and tuition deposit, right? It covers the providential attestation letter based on your school and tuition deposit, because of course, once you get admission to a school, right, you also pay tuition deposits, right? Tuition deposit is basically you securing your spot in that school. Okay, securing your spot in that school. So you pay tuition deposit. So our PAL for the $3,500, our PAL ranges from 1,000 to 3,000. So we only support. So PAL ranges from 1,000 to 3,000 card, right? But we only support you with $3,500. We only support you with 1,000 to 1,500. So your PAL is more than 1,500. We can only support you with 1,500 from the $3,500 you are paying for. So that is actually fantastic, right? So if yours is 1,000 or 1,500, like for one of our schools in Canada, it's 1,500 at the moment. So it means that the $3,500 has covered that particular part for you. But if your school is more than that, we can provide you $1,500 while you now cover the rest. So The $3,500 covers your PAL only if your PAL is within 1,000 to 15 Canadian dollars. Now, it also covers your study permit application. Right? It covers your study permit application. Right? This is us helping you. See, you have not, when you see our candidate, when we are working on their study permit application, we only spend close to 3 to 4 days helping these guys, because they're also going to be in the session. You are also going to be in the session, seeing how you're doing it. You can spend up to like 3. When most people do this application for you guys, you don't know what's happening behind the scene. You just know that you have submitted your document and you're just sleeping. That's why you see most people, they come to us and are complaining that, oh, they did not give me my login details, or they have not given me my login details, and all those things, right? But immediately we start the session, you have access to your login details. You see how we are doing it, and it takes a lot of time. It is not easy. Let me tell you, it is not easy. You are going to feel it. You're going to see it, how we're going to help you. In fact, the session is also recorded, so that you can actually go back and see what has been done for you. All right. So we help you with your study permit application, right? And also, right, it covers the fee, because there's what called study permit application fee. So you are paying for our service charge. You're also paying for the study permit application fee. All right. You pay that particular fee to Canada. So the $3,500 also covers that. Then the $3,500 covers your biometrics. Okay. It covers your what? Your biometrics, just for the individual. If you are bringing a dependent, right, it covers, it covers the dependent as well. Okay, it covers your dependent as well. Biometrics for the dependent. Okay, so biometrics, all foreign nationals applying for a study permit must follow. That is, this biometrics is after you have submitted your study permit application. Now, for number 1 to number 6, okay, let me move on. I still have like 3 more to go. It also covers proof of funds. Okay, it covers what? Proof of funds. Now, your proof of funds, most people, what they do is this, right? Let me explain how Canada works when it comes to proof of funds. Now, the thing is this, right? Canada wants to see a 6-month bank statement. They want to see a 6-month bank statement, and at the same time, they want the required amount. So you need to show, let's say, 20,000 Canadian dollars for the first year. But majorly, the major reason people are being denied for Canada is because they are not showing 2 years. Yes, on the Canada website, IRCC website, you will see they want you to show just 1 year. Don't show 1 year, show 2 years. All right, show that you have enough funds to cover your 2 years. If not, they will park you on site. So all our candidates that have traveled, we make sure we show 2 years proof of funds. And for you to show that 2 years proof of funds, it is very expensive, right? That's why we have derived a way where we work with our partner banks to make sure that this particular way, the normal way is the money is disbursed to your account. Now, when the money is disbursed, let's say, imagine $50,000 is disbursed to 50,000 naira or shillings is disbursed to your account, right? And you get to service that particular fund on a monthly basis for the next 6 months. That practically takes a lot of time, wastes a lot of time, and very expensive. In fact, you can be paying like 1 million to 2 million on a monthly basis just for proof of fund. But we have our way of helping our candidates where we have partnered with specific banks that are eager to ensure that they run this fund through an account they're going to create for you. I don't want to say it here because this session is being recorded, and this is something that is being done internally. All right, it is being done internally, and this has practically helped all our candidates. And this time, you won't waste time. You won't wait for up to 6 months. You won't wait for all those plenty things. And when Canada are reviewing your statement, they are, of course, going to call the bank and confirm if the money fund is actually there, and they will confirm it is there. Now, this fund is not disbursed to your account. They're going to create an account in the bank and run that money through. There's a way it's being done. The tech guys in those banks, there's a way they do it that your money, because one thing is this, right? If you check your bank app and you want to, you see you can see the figures, right? You can see the figures. You can see, oh, you have 20 million in your account, right? But realistically, that money is not there because the bank has already taken that money and invested somewhere. Until you want to make a transaction, then the way their system works is called the APIs, and the API, connect and you get your money. But there's something that goes on behind the scene that you don't know about. And I don't want to review all those things because those are sensitive matters that shouldn't be discussed here, right? So this is what we do for our candidate, and it is very effective. It is not time consuming, and of course, you will get a result that is required. Then your statement of intent, right? This $3,500 also covers your statement of intent. Okay, it covers your statement of intent. We ensure you have a strong and convincing SOI with enough documentation necessary to show home ties, finance, and several requirements necessary to get you approved. Even if you want to take your family along with you, which of course are majorly your strong home ties, there are other things you can actually do to show strong home ties. And your statement of intent must communicate that. There are relevant documents or relevant things you need to be doing that will show that you have a strong home ties, even if you want to take your family with you. All right. There's a way you write your statement of intent that will be convincing enough that tells the officers that this guy is ready and we should take him in. Right now, if you are taking a dependent along with you, you pay an additional $1,500. If you are taking a dependent along with you, you pay an additional $1,500. Right? You pay an additional what? $1,500. But if you are going alone, you pay just $3,500. Okay, that is that about that. Now let's talk about the installments. But before I talk about the installment, let me just go back to. Sorry, once I'm done with this session, we can ask questions. Okay, I'm just going to do a recap on what I just said on what the the $3,500 cover. Right, it covers 8 major things. Number one, I said school application and loan application. Number one covers your LinkedIn optimization, CV, and your statement of purpose. Covers your PAL, but your PAL must be between 1,000 to 1,500. We have a school that their PAL is actually 1,500. Then also cover your study permit application service. If we are going to help you, application, I would advise you actually help you with your application. All right, I would strongly advise that. In fact, it's a package, so you can omit that from it. Okay, so it covers your biometrics fee. Also cover the biometrics fee for your dependents if you are taking your dependents, along with you. And that's what the 3,500 covers. It also covers your proof of funds. Okay, covers your proof of funds. Covers your statement of intent. It covers your statement of intent. And if you are taking a dependent along with you, it covers it, but of course you get to pay $1,500 in addition to that. So these are the 8 major things the $3,500 covers. And of course, you see yourself in Canada. Let me mention something. Canada are focused on your they are focused on your proof of funds, number one. They are focused on your course you are going for, number two. They are focused on how well written your statement of intent is, number 3. And they're focused on the documents you provide. And once you can do these 4 things correctly, you are good to go. You are good to go. Now let's move on. What is the installment process like, or the installment stages like? Right now, the first installment is $250. Okay, it's $250. Now, what does it cover? It covers your school application, your CV, your statement of purpose, your loan application, your school application fee, which is when your school requires you to pay school application fee. And the school application fee it covers is within $50 to $75, right? It's usually not that much. Most schools do 100, most schools do 200, but it's within this figure. Then it also covers your membership and your consultation, right? In case we want to consult you, like, of course, every day we are always consulting for you. We have meetings with you anytime you have a challenge or whatever you want to get clarity on something. In fact, we also have, like I said, we also have our training sessions we do on a monthly basis to make sure our candidates are not just going there to study, but that's why it's called an academy, because it's beyond just applying to study. It's about you also learning and becoming a global citizen. All right. Then it covers your the second installment, which is 1/4. After you have gained admission, your loan has been approved, and other relevant thing has been done. You now say, oh, you want to make your second installment, which is 1/4. Now, your second installment covers your providential attestation letter, your tuition deposit, and which is, of course, within $100 to $200, right? Most schools' tuition deposit is $500, some $600, some $2,000, but your tuition deposit must be within $100 to $200 before we can actually fund you. But if it's more than that, we provide $200. But if let's say your tuition deposit is $500, right? We'll give you $200, then we bring you $300 to complete it. All right. That's what the $3,500 covers. Then your final installment, which is $1,850, covers your proof of funds, covers your study permit application, your statement of intent, your biometrics for you and your dependents, if you're taking your dependent along. Then it also covers Canada study permit application fee. So there's what called the study permit application fee. The this particular amount, $1,850, actually covers covers that, right? So now, let me just do a recap again, just to make sure we are on the same page, right? Just to make sure we're on the same page. Now, like I said, the $2,500 comes in 3 installments, and it covers your school application fee and loan application fee, covers your LinkedIn optimization, your CV, your statement of purpose, school application, covers your providential attestation letter, based on the school you're applying to, and also covers your tuition deposit. All right, covers your study permit application and service fee, covers your biometrics. All right, covers your proof of funds. Okay, and you must show 2 years. All right, to help you with that. Then covers statement of intent. It covers you taking your dependents, along with you as well. Right, so it covers 8 major things, and these are the installment stages and what you are actually paying for each of these installments, stages: 250, 14, and of course 850. All right, but if you can pay it at once, no problem. But of course, we advise if you can't pay it at once, you can pay in installment 850. All right, if you want to pay in dollars, for those that are having challenges paying in dollars from Nigeria, what you can simply do is this: just go to your local bank and take cash there and tell them to convert it to dollar, and you pay into our dollar account. All right, that is how it works. If you're having challenge paying it yourself, or you don't have a dollar account, all right, that is how it works. Or you can just simply tell us, we'll just convert it for you, and you pay in naira. All right, or if you're in Ghana, you pay in your currency. Now, these are the available academic sessions for Canada. So we have 4. Fall is between September and December, which is upcoming. Now, at the moment, school are already closing for intake. So, but January is currently open. Okay, January, yes, it covers for dependents too. January next year, which is winter, is currently open. So you want to secure your seat. One important thing about starting early when it comes to securing admission abroad is if you start when there is no rush, when there's not enough rush. Because at the moment, people are trying to gain admission and school are closing, people are no longer issuing power and all that. So you want to secure your seats now, so you can be the first guys to actually gain, admission to resume in January or April next year. Some of our candidates, like majority of our candidates, are looking forward to resume this fall, right? Which is this year, September, December, and it's a major intake, right? And they have full range of programs and all that. And also, if you want to resume in January next year, now is the best time to actually start preparing and putting 2 and 2s together, so that you can be the first guys. You need to be in the wait list, be the first guys to apply and gain admission fast, and even of course scholarship. All right, so that is that for that. Then to get started, of course, fill the form on our website. You receive an email with this total breakdown, everything I've just said here. You receive an email about it. Then you also receive a if you scroll down, you see the brochure. You can download the brochure there, or you can reach out to any of our sales associates, and they are going to send you the brochure so you can actually go through again in your spare time.
At CareerLeap, our satisfaction and joy come from seeing our candidates fulfill their educational ambitions abroad. We ensure we dot the I's and cross the T's, making sure every decision they take leads them towards their dreams of studying, staying, and working abroad. Our process is straightforward and transparent. From choosing the right school and course to accessing our study loans and navigating the visa process, we ensure our candidates are well prepared before embarking on their visa interviews or starting their study permit applications.
Understanding the importance of transparency in our process, which is something many of our candidates can testify to. Once a candidate fills out the form on our website and joins our Study Abroad Academy, we host a virtual onboarding session. Now, this session is the first step towards understanding our client's needs and recommending suitable courses that are STEM or business designated. Now, these courses guarantees a postgraduate work permit and helps candidates secure a high-paying job, considering the fact that they are commercially relevant and viable fields. We also conduct a detailed analysis of each candidate's background, including their first degree and their CGPA. Based on this, we recommend a suitable course of study, a school for their MSc, and the country they should apply to.
To streamline the process and ensure candidates are supported, we assign a manager to each candidate during the onboarding session. Our managers are professionals, well-trained, and are committed to offering the best advice. They guide candidates throughout the application process, reducing the stress and the time required to research and apply to schools. They also ensure candidates avoid mistakes and assist in following up with schools on their behalf.
Once a candidate gains admission into a university that we support, offering a STEM or business-designated course, they proceed to the loan application stage. Loan approval depends on how quickly a candidate's loan is reviewed. This could take a day, a week, or a month. We approve up to $100,000 for a 2-year course. Funds are disbursed directly to the candidate's school after visa approval and certification by the school. Candidates will access these funds when they resume on campus. In the first year, up to $50,000 is disbursed, with an additional amount of up to $50,000 available in the second year upon the candidate's request. Candidates also have the flexibility to determine the amounts they receive based on their cost of attendance and living expenses.
The visa process is one of the most critical and final stages of the journey. We understand that the visa application process can be daunting and complex. Many people wonder why their visa applications are denied, either US or Canada, and it often comes down to how prepared and knowledgeable they are before starting the process. We organize a 1-month mock visa interview session for our candidates, where we provide personalized mentoring and guidance. These mock sessions goes beyond mere paperwork assistance. We empower candidates with the knowledge and confidence they need to succeed. Every candidate story is unique. You can't rely solely on what you see or learn online to prepare for your visa interview. We've cracked the code and we know what works, whether you're applying for a study permit to Canada, the US, or any other country we support.
At CareerLeap, we focus on individuals passionate about gaining a global education, not those desperate to leave their home countries. Candidates must demonstrate zeal, passion, and commitment. It's beyond just applying. We host mentorship sessions where career professionals from diverse fields mentor, guide, and groom our candidates. These sessions instill a growth mindset, transforming candidates into exceptional individuals and global leaders. We are proud to have guided our candidates through every step of the process, from gaining admission to securing funding, getting their visa approved, and resuming on campus. Let us be part of your success story too.